We're here on a compliance hearing following an order to participate. Mr. Albee is with us for the department. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the children. Ms. Lucero is with us representing the father, Mr. Persley. I don't see him. Ms. Lucero, were you expecting him?
No, Your Honor, he called me yesterday. He started a new job location, and so he won't be present today.
All right. Okay. And again, Ms. Persley is with us. Ms. Persley, I'll watch the waiting room, and as soon as Ms. Grant comes in, I'll get her in, and if you need to visit with her, we'll put you in a breakout room. Mr. Albee.
Ms. Chu, you are a FBS worker and employed by the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Yes, sir.
And has Lindsay and James, well, we strike that. Lindsay and James have been ordered to work services. Have they begun working the services they've been ordered to work?
Yes, sir.
Have they completed, well, let me start with Lindsay. Has Lindsay completed any services that she was asked to complete?
No, sir.
What services is she continuing to work on at this time?
She is working on counseling, on parenting classes, her OSAR assessment, the drug and alcohol dependency assessment, anger management classes, and then just complying with our family plan. And she is doing all of those.
Mr. Persley was also ordered to work services. Has he completed any of the services he was ordered to work?
No, sir.
What services is he continuing to work on at this time?
He is working on counseling, parenting classes, the drug and alcohol dependency assessment, anger management classes, and complying with the department's family plan.
And is he also working on all of those services at this time?
Yes, sir.
Are there any additional services that you believe that either Ms. Persley or Mr. Persley need to work at this time?
No, sir.
Today, because they've not completed their services, and you still have services that we need to get them to work on, are you asking the court to continue the order to participate at this time?
Yes, sir.
The children, Gentry, Emerson, Rowan, and Rhett, are they still residing in the Persley home?
Yes, they are.
And are they still safe for the time being?
Yes.
And are the Persleys making sure that they have met all of the children's needs at this point?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Chu. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Lucero?
Just a couple of questions. Ms. Chu, was the department able to locate any online services that Mr. Persley was able to work for any of the services that have been ordered?
Let me go back through here. I'm sorry. I believe their counseling, they got switched to virtual. If not, they can let me know and we can get that completed. I know they have began that service. Parenting classes are online. Those are self-paced, so he can do those whenever, the middle of the night, mid-morning, however he would like to do that. The OSAR is required to be in person. They worked on that, trying to get Linda Dudley to their home, and I don't think that was an option. Anger management class, that is through Troy Timmons' office, and it is offered virtual now as well.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for Ms. Chu, and I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Michelson?
Thank you. Ms. Chu, do you have any concerns for the children's safety at home?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, and are they regularly attending school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is there any services and support being provided for the children?
No, we have not identified any needs for the children at this time.
Okay, and is there any health concerns for the children?
No, sir.
Are they taking any medication?
Not to my knowledge. I don't believe so.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Persley, Ms. Grant has still not joined us. Did you have any questions for Ms. Chu? She's shaking her head no, so I take that as a no. All right, then, Mr. Albee, anything further from the department?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lucero, any witnesses?
Your Honor, I don't have any witnesses, but I had a question for the court. According to my notes, when we were here the last time, the anger management, the parenting, the counseling were all ordered for Mr. Persley. But it was my understanding from my notes, and I might have miswritten them, that the OSAR was only for Ms. Persley. And I didn't know if maybe you had that written in your notes.
No, I don't have that. The only thing I had other than just to work the services was to return the kids to the parents, and then there be no alcohol in the home, and the mother not to consume alcohol, or the children would be immediately removed. That's all I had as far as what I had in my
Right.
notes. That doesn't mean that I didn't say something that's not in my notes.
Right. Well, and the reason I ask, and I had discussed this with Ms. Chu, is I don't believe there were really any allegations or statements made at the last hearing that there was an alcohol issue for Mr. Persley. So he was under the impression he didn't have to take that evaluation, and so did I. So we're kind of lost on that. So I was just going to ask the court today.
Let's just ask Mr. Albee. Mr. Albee, is there any indication that Mr. Persley needs an OSAR assessment?
Judge, we would like for him to have one just so that we would know that there's not a dependency issue there. The OSAR evaluation is, if it shows that he's not got a dependency, they're not going to recommend any services, and we would be satisfied with that.
That sounds fair enough to me. The OSAR is isn't it a 1 or 2 time meeting?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, Ms. Lucero. So I would say he needs to do that assessment. And obviously, as Mr. Albee said, if there's no issues, then there'll be nothing recommended, and he will have satisfied that requirement. So,
Okay, Your Honor, he also wanted me to let the court know he wasn't opposing it. He just couldn't recall if he was ordered to do it, but he said he'll do it if you order it. So, okay.
Yeah, just let him know that I did order it. So,
Okay.
okay, then, Mr. Michelson, any other recommendations as far as the kiddos are concerned?
Just to continue order to work services and set a compliance date into the future.
All right, Mr. Albee, how far out do you want your compliance hearing?
60 days, Your Honor. That should give us plenty of time to get all of these services completed.
November 15th or December 6th? You can take your pick.
Let's do December 6th, Your Honor.
Okay, then I will order the parents to continue working the services as previously ordered by the court, including the OSAR for Mr. Persley. And I will set a compliance hearing for December 6th, 2023. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or so in advance to see for the department. Exactly. Mr. Albee, did you say Brandy Coberly is with CASA?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and is Cassie Coppock going to be in this case?
She will be my witness and the caseworker, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So Ms. Coberly is joining us for CASA. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the child. Mr. Harris is with us representing the mother. Ms. Thomas, I don't see her in the waiting room. I know she signed a relinquishment. Were you expecting her, Mr. Harris?
I was, Judge.
Okay, I'll watch the waiting room to see if she shows up. And Ms. Archer's with us representing an unknown father. Okay, that's everyone. I have no one in the waiting room. I will watch for Ms. Thomas. Mr. Albee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Miss Cassie Coppock.
Okay.
Grayson is a month old, maybe 2 months old.
About a month, yes.
And where is he currently placed?
He's placed in a foster home in Amarillo with his sisters.
And is that foster home meeting all of his needs at this time?
Yes.
Are you comfortable that that home is capable of taking care of this child?
Yes.
Are there any special issues or special needs with the child that have arisen that we need to make the court aware of today?
No.
Child's mother is Miss Tahiti Thomas,
Yes.
and she has signed and executed an affidavit of relinquishment of her parental rights.
Yes.
And your understanding that she did that with the understanding that the child would be placed in the current foster home where the child is at.
Yes.
Did you ask Miss Thomas to sign that affidavit?
I did not.
Was that affidavit her decision?
Yes.
Have you or has Miss Thomas filed that affidavit with the court?
It's been filed, but I didn't file it.
Judge, we would ask the court to take judicial notice of the on-file affidavit of relinquishment signed by Ms. Tahiti Thomas.
So noted.
Ms. Thomas has made it clear that she is not ready to have this child in her home.
Correct.
Have you discussed with her services that she might want to complete, or is she just not going to work services because she signed an affidavit?
I didn't discuss her working services on this case. I mean, she's got a service plan for her other case.
Today, are you asking the court to, in lieu of ordering her to work services, to go ahead and terminate her parental rights based upon the affidavit that has been completed by her?
Yes.
Have you talked with the foster placement for this child, and is it her intent to adopt this child?
It's his intent to adopt this child.
Excuse me, his intent to adopt this child.
Yes.
And do you feel that would be in a positive environment for the child?
I think that home is a positive home. Yes.
No criminal history, no drug history.
None that I know about.
The sooner that we were able to complete the termination of Ms. Thomas's parental rights, the sooner the foster home can adopt.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas has previously told the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services that she did not know who the father to this child is. Have you asked her who the father of the child is?
I have asked her and she told me she did not know.
Has she given you any indication that she might be aware of who the possible father is?
She would not give me a name.
Have we asked any family members or anybody else that knows Miss Thomas who the father might be?
I have not.
Did you develop any kind of a service plan for an unknown father at this time?
Yes.
Does that service plan basically say that if we find out who the father is, that person is supposed to cooperate with the department and have a DNA testing done and then establish a safe and stable home?
Yes.
Are you asking the court to order that service plan be made an order of the court today?
Yes.
In the meantime, are you asking, well, first of all, just to clarify, it would be unsafe for Grayson to return to her mother, Tahiti Thomas, at this time,
Yes.
and against Grayson's general welfare to be returned home.
Yes.
Are you asking the court then to continue the department as temporary managing conservator of this child?
Yes.
Terminate the parental rights between Grayson and Tahiti Thomas.
Yes.
You believe that's in Grace's best interest?
Yes.
And continue the placement of Grayson in the current foster placement.
Yes.
Pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Harris,
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Archer.
No questions.
All right, Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's in the best interest of the child to terminate the mother's rights, and then I would recommend that the department remain in temporary managing conservatorship of the child and continue placement in the current foster home.
All right. Did anyone else have any further witnesses today? No. Okay. All right. Does Casa have anything to add?
No, I don't, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then based on the evidence I've heard today, first of all, I do find that it's in the best interest of the child Grace, the parental rights of the mother, Tahiti Thomas, be terminated. I'll terminate those rights today based solely on the affidavit of relinquishment, which is on file, as well as Texas Family Code Section 161.001, subsection B1K. I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator, continue Grayson's current placement. I will order that the service plan on file for the unknown father be made an order of the court today. I was going to set an initial permanency hearing. Mr. Albee, is there any reason not to go ahead and set final?
Judge, we're gonna have to jump through some hoops to find the dad, post on the dad. I don't know if we can do that in a time period, but if you want to make that a final subject to having to change it to a permanency, we can do that.
Okay, what I'll do, I had an initial permanency date already, so I will just go ahead and set the final for January 17th, 2024, with the understanding if there's problems with the father, we might have to extend that and treat that as a permanency hearing, but hopefully we'll either find him or we'll be ready to go forward. So, okay.
Judge, would you go ahead and order my representation dismissed in this cause so I can place it in the judgment? Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Okay. So Taylor Harris will be dismissed as Ms. Thomas has signed an irrevocable affidavit of relinquishment. Okay, that will conclude this case. For those of you involved, I'll be back in the room here in just a couple of minutes. Mr. Albee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Mario Zavala.
Okay. And I'm sorry, for the record also, we do have another party, a sole managing conservator, Molly Crossman. She is also not with us.
Judge, for the record, I'm not sure that Ms. Crossman is a sole managing conservator. I think she may be a guardian of the child.
Okay. All right. She is a party though, isn't she?
She is, Your Honor, because that was where placement was when we removed the child. So,
okay. All right. I'll make a change in my notes on that. Thank you.
Mr. Zavala, you're a St. Francis Ministries permanency specialist.
Yes, he's placed in Fayetteville, Arkansas at an RTC.
And that's an RTC, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
And how long has he been in the RTC in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
It's been going on now for about a month.
And is that some kind of a special type of RTC, or is it just why is he in Arkansas as opposed to Texas?
He was placed in Arkansas due to his behavior while in Texas.
And is that placement meeting all of his needs at this time?
Yes, sir.
Have you had conversations with him to explain to him why he was transferred to Arkansas?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like he understands that?
No, I don't believe that.
Okay. Is he seeing a counselor at this time?
Yes, sir.
Does he have any health needs or special needs that we need to make the court aware of today?
No, sir.
Child's mother is Betsy Crossman.
Yes, sir.
She's currently incarcerated in TDC.
That's correct.
And have you had any correspondence or any conversations with her?
Not at this time, sir.
Have you reached out to her to make sure that she is aware that the child is placed in the care of the department?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea when a release date may be for her?
TDCJ says that she is looking at anywhere between April of next year.
Anytime after April of next year, or you said between and didn't give me two dates.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's looking at being released next year, 2024 in April.
Thank you. And she has named Austin Morton as the alleged father.
Correct.
He denies that he's the father.
Yes, sir.
Have you been in contact with him since you took over the case?
No, sir.
Have you reached out to any addresses, or have we tried to find where he may be?
We did do a diligence search, and we just got an update yesterday with an updated address and impact.
And you're going to attempt to contact him at that updated address?
Yes, sir.
Was that updated address in Gray County?
Yes, sir.
Child's guardian and aunt is Miss Molly Crossman.
Yes, sir.
And the child was placed with her for some time, and it was upon her request that the child was removed from her care.
Correct, sir.
Have you had conversations with her?
I have.
And is she still adamant that she does not want Mason to be returned to her?
That's correct.
In the meantime, have you completed service plans for Betsy Crossman and Austin Morton?
Yes, sir.
Do those service plans basically say that they are to work some services if they become available to work those services during the length of this case?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking the court, did you put those service plans on file with the court?
Yes, sir.
You're asking the court today to make those services an order of the court today.
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, would it be against the general welfare or contrary to the general welfare to be returned to any of his family?
Yes, sir.
Would it be safe? Would it, excuse me, drop that. Would it be unsafe to return Mason to any of the members of his family?
Yes, sir.
You're asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator of Mason, and that we leave him at his current placement while he works the services at that RTC.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Savala, you said that Mason's placed in Arkansas because of his actions in Texas. Well, kids have actions in Texas all the time. Were you able to locate an RTC in Texas that would take Mason?
He was placed at an RTC in Texas, but due to his behavior that was continually going on, they felt like they didn't have the resources to continue taking care of him. And there was no other RTC facilities in Texas that were willing to take him. So the next place was Arkansas. Yes,
That's
sir.
what I needed to hear, that there are none in Texas that would take him.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you had any contact whatsoever with Austin Morton?
No, sir.
Okay. I don't know if he's been served. I thought I heard that he denies he's the father, and if he denies it, he had to deny it to someone. So who's had contact with him?
My investigator testified at the adversary that she had limited contact with him, saying that he denied that, Your Honor, but we do not have service on him. We have not been able to find him. It was through Facebook, I think, that he made contact with the investigator.
Okay. All right. So basically he's still MIA, even though through Facebook, he did deny. And I see I've already ordered paternity testing if we find him. So, okay, that clears that up for me. All right, then, Ms. Kincaid, questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. There are a number of things here in this family plan of service that you're requesting be made in order of the court that she will not be able to complete while she is in prison. Is that correct?
Are you asking me, ma'am?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. For instance, I mean, she won't be able to get transportation to and from any kind of services. She's not going to have safe and stable housing or employment for 6 months, so long as she's incarcerated. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you aware if there are any of the services that you're requesting be made in order of the court that she can work while she's incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay. What types of services are those?
We do have a family, there's like a family counseling packet that we do have, and I can send that to her. It's a
Okay.
very lengthy packet. It's extremely big.
Okay. And would that assist her in completing services should she wish to work them so the child can be returned to her?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware, and you may not be, are you aware whether that particular facility offers parenting classes?
I do not know.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass witness, Your Honor. Oh, I do have another question. Has a child undergone a psychiatric or psychological evaluation?
Yes.
Were there any diagnoses as a result of that?
Yes.
What were those?
Let me pull that up for you.
Or if you can you make the results of those evaluations available to the other parties?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Adams?
Yes, Mr. Savala, do you know if Mason is on psychotropic medications?
Yes, he is.
And have they asked you for permission to put him on another medication?
Yes, sir. It's a medication called Seroquel. It is a 50 milligram prescription twice daily for mood and aggression. I'm all for Mason getting the correct help that he needs. I get really nervous putting the children on so many psychotropic medications.
Yes. Are you going to grant that request?
If the remainder of the parties do agree, I'm willing to go with it.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Savala, is the recommendation for Seroquel, did it come from a psychiatrist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many psychotropics is he on total?
I believe it's 3.
Okay. All right. And he'll be seeing this psychiatrist, or has been seeing him at least every 30 days concerning his meds?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right then. Okay, anyone have anything else for Mr. Savala?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Alley, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Thank you. Ms. Kincaid, witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, recommendations?
Just that the department remain temporary managing conservator and that placement be approved where he's at right now.
All right, thank you. Ms. Coberly, does CASA have anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue Mason's current placement. I'll order the service plans as requested by the department for the parties. I don't, if a psychiatrist is recommending this medication, that psychiatrist would know more about it than I would, so I don't have a problem with at least trying it. So
Yes,
has Mr. Savala, has Mason indicated whether he thinks his meds are helping him or making him a zombie or anything?
Yeah, I spoke to him on Monday in person, and he did say that the medications weren't working. But of course, I don't know his actions in person all the time, and when I see him in person. So, and then versus of what the staff gave me an update on his behavior. When I walk away, they said he's a totally different person. So. But Mason, like I said, he makes an outcry that they're not working. So,
Well, if he continues to make that outcry, let someone know. I can always order an independent psychiatric evaluation.
yes, sir.
I won't do it. I don't think I'll do it at this point. Let's wait and see if this new medication helps him. So, but that's always an option. That's usually what I do if there's any indications that there's a problem. So,
Alrighty, sounds good.
all right then. Then I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator, continue placement, and order the service plans for the parties. Our next hearing will be the initial permanency hearing on January 17th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or so in advance to see what time that hearing will take place. All right, that will conclude this hearing. We'll stand in recess. For those of you involved, I'll be back here in just a few minutes, 10-15 or so, to call a final hearing on the Wheeler County case involving the Hatcher child.
Your Honor, may I ask you just one question?
Sure.
If Mason chooses to want to be a part of court, is he allowed to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody, kind of my rule of thumb is over 12, they're absolutely entitled. Under 12, I kind of consider it case by case. So he's entitled to attend. He doesn't have to testify unless somebody calls him as a witness. But yeah, you can always give him the link for the Zoom hearings, and he's welcome to join anytime he wants. And obviously, everyone knows this. If he ever wants to confer with me but doesn't want to do it in open court, all you have to do is notify my office, and we'll make that happen.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Okay, we'll stand in recess. Y'all have a good rest of your week. I'll be back here in just a few minutes on the Hatcher case. Ms. Talley is with us for CASA. Thank y'all. Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the child. Mr. Barfield's with us representing the mother, Miss Ankton. And I'm assuming that Miss Ankton is there with Mr. Hatcher. Is that correct? Yes, she's waving her hand. Yes. All right. And then Mr. Barfield's with us representing the mother, Miss Ankton, and Mr. Adams is with us representing the father, Mr. Hatcher. All right. Before we get started, Mr. Adams, I know that you have filed a motion to extend this case and retain the case on the court's docket. I believe we informed at least your office that I don't grant those without a hearing unless there's nobody objecting to it. So,
Yes, Your Honor.
and then also your motion didn't really set out any specific facts about extraordinary circumstances. First of all, let me just ask, does anyone object to extending the case and retaining the case on the court's docket?
Judge, the department is not going to make an official objection. We do believe that Ms. Hatcher and Mr. Hatcher and Ms. Ankton have done some services. However, we do not believe that there are extenuating circumstances, so I can't agree to an extension at this time.
Anyone else?
No objection.
Your Honor, if the reports that I'm seeing indicate that the continued use is ongoing as of July, I have concerns that instead of going forward in the case, we're going backwards. And for that reason, I would object because I don't think that there are any extraordinary circumstances that I'm aware of. They've moved, and they haven't seen the child in several months.
All right. All right. Mr. Adams, if you want to make your record, I'll let you put on any testimony you want to as far as the extraordinary circumstances. I realize they have done some services, but I don't know. I haven't. You're welcome to make a record. That's all I'm saying. I have to also find that they made a good faith effort to successfully complete the services. I have the same concerns Ms. Kincaid does. And if I'm reading the report correctly, I don't see that they've done much since they moved to Colorado. So I'll give you this opportunity to call any witnesses you want to make your record, and then I'll rule on your motion to extend.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Nakoa Hatcher.
Okay. Mr. Hatcher, if you'd unmute.
Yes, Mr. Hatcher, where are you living right now?
We just actually finally got to move into the house that we've been waiting to move into up here.
What type of house is it? What type of house is it?
It is a duplex.
How many
with
bedrooms?
Three bedroom, 3 bathroom house.
Okay. And you were just able to get moved into that?
Yes.
Is that going to be stable housing, do you believe?
Yes, it will.
Do you have a stable job?
Yes.
Where do you work?
I work for Phoenix Demolition Company.
Okay. So you do demolition work?
Yes.
Did you just take a drug test in the last few days?
Yes, I did.
And did your wife take a drug test as well?
Yes, sir.
And that was set up by Miss Grissom?
Yes.
Do you believe that you can remain clean if there's an extension granted?
Yes, I do.
And you're asking the court to extend this case to give you an opportunity to show that you can remain clean?
Yes.
But you did test positive back in July, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted that on there for the record. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Albee.
Mr. Hatcher, how long have you been in Colorado?
Just under 4 months.
And during that period of time, you've been waiting on the house that you're currently living in?
Yes.
Where have you been living?
We were staying at a place that wasn't suitable for involvement with CPS until the house was settled.
While you've been waiting, have you continued to be working for the same demolition company?
Yes.
Have you provided proof of employment or proof of income to Ms. Grissom so that we know that you're actually receiving income?
Yes, sir.
At one point in time, Ms. Ankton was working. Is she working now?
No.
She tested positive for methamphetamines in July.
Yeah.
You both tested positive for marijuana in July, is that correct?
Yes.
When was the last time that you used either marijuana or Delta 8?
It's been about 3 months.
That puts us mid-June, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You telling the court that you're not going to use Delta 8 or any marijuana if he extends this case?
No.
You're not telling me that, or you are telling me you won't?
I am telling you I won't.
Since you moved to Colorado, have you worked any of the services that you've been required to work?
So we're trying to find a place that we feel comfortable for the NA meetings that we're supposed to be doing, and we haven't found one yet. Otherwise, that's basically the main thing that other than doing UAs, that's what they've asked us to do up here.
When was the last time you saw your child?
About 3 months ago.
Is there any reason that you haven't made any trips to see her?
It's been real tight and our car broke down. So we're down to now only having one vehicle, which is not ours. So it makes it really hard on us.
Thank you, Mr. Hatcher. I'll pass witness, Ron.
All right, Mr. Barfield.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, what was the reason you moved to Colorado?
Because I have better employment opportunities up here. Down in there, I don't really have any.
Okay. Now, my client, your wife, she's currently unemployed.
Yes.
Is she searching for employment?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Now you're in the house. Are you able to meet? So would you consider the fact that is your main issue transportation in regards to visits?
Basically, yes. That and being able to get off of work.
Okay. Could you do virtual visits?
Oh, yes, we could.
Now, in regards to extending the case, do you believe that there were extenuating circumstances that in regards to working your services? In other words, is there any reason why you hadn't been able to work services in the time between moving to Colorado?
Not that I know of. Other than not knowing the places and not having the community built up yet that we had down there. But
if you get that figured out, will you be able to work services as required by this court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would you be willing to do that?
Yes, I would.
Okay. And are you and your wife asking for more time to get settled there in a more stable situation?
Yes.
Okay. And do you believe that now you said money was tight?
It was, but I've gotten a raise and it's starting to go better.
Okay. Do you just cut to the chase? Do you feel that because you had to move states and find employment that made it very difficult to complete your services?
Yes.
Okay. What did you and your wife not complete services out of neglect or just ignoring it or just because you didn't want to?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Kincaid.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Mr. Hatcher?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I do. Mr. Hatcher, are you telling this court that you've been there 4 months, yet you still can't find a place that you are comfortable with to do AA?
Yes, it's because there's so many of them up here, and I'm trying to find one that's closer to where we're actually at. But all the ones that I'm finding are like 20 to 30 miles away. And that's a long way to go to do an in-person meeting.
Have you looked for online NAAA classes?
Yeah, we do have the In the Rooms app, but it has been not working right for some reason.
All right. When's the last time you used marijuana?
About 3 months, about 3.5 months ago.
So way into this case, you're still using marijuana. Would you agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you used methamphetamine?
Oh, it's been a long time.
What's a long time? I'm sorry, what?
Almost 2 years.
All right. Did you know your wife was still using methamphetamine?
No, she was not.
Well, how'd she test positive? Do you have any ideas on that?
We do not. We have tried everything that we can think of. The place that we live at, unfortunately, that we were living in, had a bunch of people that were doing drugs. And now that we're getting away from there again, everything should go back how it was.
Right. You said that you would want to do virtual visits. You haven't seen your child since June. Have you asked to have virtual visits?
I the thought didn't even occur to me about virtual visits. And I didn't know that it was possible. Haley had never said anything to us about virtual.
Did you know that your service plan includes a condition that you visit your child routinely?
No, I didn't know that.
All right, tell me, I'm not talking to you, ma'am, I'm talking to him. What services do you still lack on your original service plan that you haven't done?
We've done everything as far as I know.
Okay. All right, anyone else have further questions for Mr. Hatcher?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Evans, do you have any other witnesses to call on your motion to extend?
Your Honor, just briefly, I'd like to call Haley Grissom.
Okay.
Miss Grissom, where is Indica placed?
She is in a foster home in Carson County.
Has that foster home stated whether they could be a permanent home or not at this point?
No,
They still thinking about it?
they are considering it, but they haven't decided if that's the right decision for them or not.
Would extending this case cause any delay in Indica having a more stable home environment?
I don't think it would cause a delay. No.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Albee, questions for Haley?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Grissom, has Mr. Hatcher been providing you with income verification as you've requested?
I'm not in a couple of months.
And were you aware that he'd gotten a raise?
No.
Did he advise you that he was moving into a new home?
He texted me yesterday and let me know about the new address.
So the day before the final hearing, you knew about a new home?
Yes, sir.
Have you been able to visit that home?
No.
Do we have anybody either with St. Francis Ministries or that we've contracted with that could go visit the home in Colorado?
We have a pending ICPC study, and that worker would be the person that would go to the home.
But we haven't been able to do that at this time.
No, sir.
What did Mr. Hatcher test positive for in July?
Marijuana and methamphetamine.
What did Ms. Hatcher test positive for in July?
Marijuana and methamphetamine.
Did you recently retest Mr. Hatcher?
They did UAs, yes.
And what were the results of those UAs?
Their ones in August came back negative, and they did ones for me yesterday, but those are still pending.
Do you have concerns that they are using methamphetamines and marijuana at this time?
Yes.
Are there services other than remaining clean and sober that they have not worked? Either Mr. Hatcher or Miss Angton have not worked at this time?
They have not been doing their NA meetings. They haven't visited Indica. Besides that, they've done everything else. Well, and their housing situation until yesterday.
Well, at least what they're telling you from yesterday.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Pass it with me, Sean.
All right. Mr. Barfield?
Thank you, Judge. Haley, you mentioned that there's been an ICPC study ordered. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
But we have not had time to have that completed.
No, it's still pending.
Okay. And also we have drug test results that are still pending as well that, we need to get those results, see how they turned out as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, would you consider the fact that they've obtained new housing at least a step in the right direction?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that it would in any way, shape, or form harm Indica if we continued this case so that the ICPC could be completed and we could get results of drug tests and maybe start some virtual visits so they could comply with the other factors of the service plan?
No, sir, I don't think it would harm Indica.
Would the department have any major objections with just giving them some more time to complete their service plan in regards to getting enrolled in NA and complying with what the court has already ordered?
I don't believe that St. Francis has any objections.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Adams, I'm sorry, that was your witness. Ms. Kincaid.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Grissom, do you recall the original reason that Ms. Ankton and Mr. Hatcher moved to Colorado?
They always expressed to me it was because of job opportunities.
Okay. And was one of those reasons that Ms. Ankton got a job at Amazon, allegedly? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did she ever provide you with any pay stubs after her employment with Amazon?
No pay stubs. She did send me some verification that she had been hired by Amazon. She forwarded those emails to me, but no pay stubs.
Okay. And since that time, has she ever reported any employment to you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass witness.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Ms. Grissom?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right. Ms. Grissom, the report I read said that as far as this ICPC home study, that the parents haven't done the paperwork that they need to do to get it completed. Is that your understanding?
They have completed their packet, but the references they provided, they've not been able to get a hold of any of their references. And that is essential to going to the next part, which is, I believe, the home visit. So that's what they're waiting on.
Okay. So maybe they need to give some other possibles.
It's a possibility.
Okay. But they did complete it. It's just that the references they gave, you can't find them.
Yeah, the ICPC worker doing that cannot get in touch with them, I guess.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mr. Adams, do you have anything else?
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. Haley, how long do you think it'll be to get these drug test results?
Typically they'll be back in a week. It kind of depends on if they are negative or positive. If they're positive, they do come back. They do take a little longer to come back. So it could be closer to 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I have a question for Miss Ankton. So if nobody else is going to call her, I'm going to ask her my questions.
I'm not going to call her, Your Honor.
Okay.
I could call her, Judge.
Doesn't matter to me. I've just got a couple of questions for her.
Go ahead and ask your questions, Your Honor.
Miss Ankton, when's the last time you used marijuana?
Around 3 months, I would say.
I can't hear you.
Around 3 months ago.
Okay. When's the last time you used methamphetamine?
It's around 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
Do you have any explanation why in July you were positive for methamphetamine?
I would say because of the the situation that we were in and the individuals that we had to be around.
What do you, I mean, how did that make you test positive? Were you with them when they were doing methamphetamine?
Am I able to explain a little bit more so that you understand?
I'm asking you, yeah.
Okay. The room that we were staying in, it was a kitchen to begin with. So so everybody else had had access to it. We weren't able to, start locking it and using it as our own room until like maybe a month or two after we were already here. So it took some time for us to even be able to call the bed, like the room, ours. So I mean, that's the only thing that we could, chalk it up to.
Well, did you know that they'd been doing meth in that kitchen?
No, sir, I do not.
Then what makes you, why do you think that maybe that's where you test, that's why you tested positive? Because your room is, are you saying your room had residue of meth in it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you start calling that kitchen your room?
About maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay.
Because we were able to change the locks then. So yes.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else, any other witness or anything else to offer the court on the motion to extend?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, as bad as I hate to do this, I'm going to grant the motion to extend it. I want to know as soon as those drug test results come back. So be sure those get filed and a copy gets sent to the court. So, and kind of based on that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and extend the case, but I'm going to set the next permanency hearing for October 18th, 2023. We'll see where we're at then. And I would just advise both the parents, you better start doing the rest of these things that you have not been doing since you got to Colorado. It's part of your service plan wherever you live. Yes, Mr. Albee?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would request that you order an additional OSAR or similar type evaluation because of the positive drug screen in July. And then for them to follow whatever recommendations come from that.
Okay. Give me just a second here. Okay, then as I said, I'm granting Mr. Adams' motion to extend the case and retain on the court's docket. I'll order the parents to undergo a second OSAR assessment or some type of equivalent drug evaluation, and to do that prior to October 18th, 2023. Now, Ms. Sankton, Mr. Hatcher, if that means you to do this OSAR assessment, if it means you got to come back to Texas to do it, that's what I'm ordering. So I will set a permanency hearing for October 18th, 2023. And we'll just see where we go from there. So
Thank you, Your Honor.
this is another note, but I'm trying to tell everybody this. I assume that everybody's gotten a copy of the court's standing orders, the two new standing orders, and Mr. Adams, this isn't directed at you because it doesn't even go in effect till October 1st. But now that the court has to travel for all final hearings, all motions to extend have to be filed at least 10 business days prior to the date of the final hearing, and you have to also obtain a hearing date from the court. I'm not going to try to keep up with them. If that's not done, then the motion to extend the case will automatically be denied. So, and again, Mr. Adams, I didn't even send those out till a few days ago, so I'm not pointing the finger at you. So we're just going to have to change some things now that I have to be in the counties where the case is filed for final hearing. So I'm down here today in Pampa, sitting here all by myself. So
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
And if it weren't for the Coney Island, we probably would be having a final hearing today. So I can stomach it a little better when I know I can go to Coney Island. So.